Today's question comes from Suzanne. Can we have some examples of meals we have to eat on a 16-8 intermittent fasting? Thank you very much. So, Suzanne, the thing that I love about intermittent fasting is you don't need a meal plan. You don't need someone to tell you what to eat, what to stay away from. I eat all the food. I always have since I've started intermittent fasting, and I plan to always because I love all different kinds of foods. I love carbs. I love, I love salads and vegetables, sure, but I also love steak and chicken and all those types of things too. I eat all the food. And that was the difference this go around is I didn't try, when I was losing weight, I didn't try to say, okay, no carbs, or I'm going to eat healthy. I just said, I'm going to play with with this intermittent fasting thing until I get the results I'm looking for. But, so that you can kind of get an idea of what my eating looked like on a 16-8, I'll tell you, the kinds of foods that I was eating. So that would usually mean if I was doing a 16-8, usually that would mean I would eat my first meal at about 12 and I would cut off my eating at 8. And so usually by the time 12 o'clock rolled around, I was good and hungry. So I would eat enough food to fill me up. Usually that was leftovers from the night before. Now, I do tend to cook a lot from scratch. I don't buy a lot of prepackaged foods, generally speaking. So that would be some sort of, meat and maybe some sort of vegetable, like roasted vegetables or something. And some sort of bread usually. Or it might have been something like spaghetti. Carbs are cheap, and I'm on a budget. And so that's generally the types of foods I was eating, just regular standard American fare. And so then after I would eat that, opening meal, usually that would keep me full until supper. Not all the time. It kind of depended on where I was in my cycle and things like that. But generally speaking, I would not really be hungry again until supper, which was usually about 6 or 6:30. And then we would just eat whatever we wanted to for supper, tacos, rice and beans. There were all sorts of different meals. I never said to myself, oh, well, I need to make sure that this meal, has a certain amount of carbs, or it needs to be low carb, or it needs to be, high protein or anything. I did find that I preferred to eat meals that had a little bit of everything in it. Like, for example, I found that if something was just exceedingly high carb, but like really low in like fat and protein, that wasn't going to bode well for me the next day as far as how I was feeling. And the same was really high protein. I did horrible if it was just protein, like a big plate of wings one night was all I had, and man, the next day I did not feel good. So I did learn those types of things about myself, but I think everybody is very individual. And I think the main thing while you're figuring this out for yourself is just pay attention to how you're feeling after you have certain kinds of meals and adjust the what you're eating and maybe the portion sizes based on how you feel for the rest of the day. And so I would eat, until I got full. I never had rules about portion sizes or anything like that with fasting. So, I would eat until I got full for my opening meal, and then I would eat supper. I would eat until I got full. And then one thing that I really worked on a lot was stopping when I got full. I had gotten into a really bad habit of eating and eating and eating until I just felt miserable. So working on that throughout, my journey with intermittent fasting, I just kept paying really close attention that, okay, at the end of the meal, how do I feel? Did I eat too much or just the right amount? And I was always shooting for eating just the right amount. And then since my eating window would end at about 8 o'clock, usually I would have just a small snack or something right before my window closed, because I wanted fasting to feel really easy the next day. And what I was thinking was, okay, if I eat right before my window closes, then that'll make it easier to fast until 12 the next day. And so that's what I did. The snack might be something like apples with peanut butter or PB&J. It really just depended on what I was craving. So I hope that helps you, Suzanne. If you're having trouble getting started on your weight loss journey, check out my Slow and Steady Success Academy. You can subscribe to the entire course collection, which includes monthly access to my flagship course, Intermittent Fasting for Weight Loss 101, which is the course on intermittent fasting that I wish I would have had when I first heard about it. You'll also get access to courses about mindset and maintenance and weight tracking. My goal with each course is to teach you how to lose weight sustainably and keep it off for the rest of your life. Come join the Academy today.